Hello, everyone. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. It would really help the channel out quite a bit. Thank you very much.
And now, the inside story, the Buddha Man mystery. What happened to the philandering weather prophet of Hartford, Connecticut? Our story begins in the cold dawn of Sunday, March 24th, 1929.
Operator, get me Dr. O'Neill. Number? I don't know. I can't think. Oh, it's Maine. Maine 6412. Oh, Dr. O'Neill, this is Mrs. Anderson. Please come quick. My husband won't wake up. He's so cold. I'm afraid he's dead. Oh, Frank.
Dr. O'Neill, this man has been dead for over 4 hours.
There now, Mrs. Anderson. Dr. Costello and I know this was a great shock.
Now, try to help us all you can. Is this the way you found your husband?
Yes, that's the way he was when I woke up.
His face is quite blue, Dr. O'Neill. Did you observe that condition?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson, have you any idea as to what caused your husband's death?
It must have been the chloroform.
What? Chloroform?
Frank was troubled with insomnia.
Insomnia, that's right, Dr. Costello. I can vouch for that. A bad case.
He took all kinds of sleeping powders, but they didn't seem to do him any good.
I see.
So lately he's been trying chloroform. He'd dampen a handkerchief with it and inhale the fumes. In that way he'd drop off to sleep.
Didn't he know it was dangerous?
Oh, I talked to him time after time, but he only laughed at me. Like last night.
Did your husband take chloroform last night?
Yes, about midnight when we were going to bed. He poured some on a handkerchief.
Is this the handkerchief?
Yes. He put that over his face, lay down, and said he'd be asleep in 5 minutes.
Mrs. Anderson, what did your husband do last night before he went to bed?
He danced with me to our radio. Oh, it was such a happy evening.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, John.
Susan, you have my sympathy.
I know, John.
If there's anything I can do...
Please, stand by me.
Certainly, Susan. Oh, my name is Kent. I'm Mr. Anderson's assistant in the Weather Bureau. I was on my way to the annex when I heard the news.
Annex? Oh, I see. You still have the Weather Bureau in the annex out in the yard?
Yes, sir. Mr. Anderson always thought it was an excellent location for meteorological observations. And it was near home, too.
Mr. Kent, was Mr. Anderson in the habit of taking anything to put himself to sleep?
Yes, sir. He took chloroform regularly. I told him he put too much on some night. Oh, well, I've got to go back. If you gentlemen don't need me anymore...
I believe not.
Then I'll be getting on to the Bureau. Have to stick close to the job, Miss Weather. Let me know, Susan, if I can help.
I will, John.
Dr. O'Neill, what is your idea about this?
I'd say that Mr. Anderson died an accidental death. Too much chloroform.
I quite agree with you, Doctor. Shall we sign the death certificate?
Very well.
We can both sign it now. Frank Waldo Anderson. Cause of death, accidental. Overdose of chloroform.
Oh, Frank.
I'm Sergeant McSwig and Mrs. Anderson, and this is Chief of Police Farrell.
Mrs. Anderson.
Is there anything I can do?
Well, this is just the routine of the law, Mrs. Anderson. We're required to look into cremation cases just to make sure that everything's all right.
Do whatever you wish, gentlemen. The house is a little upset. Just the way it was last night.
All right. You can go ahead with anything you were doing, Mrs. Anderson. If the sergeant and I need any information, we'll call you.
Very well. If you don't mind, I'd like to be with him.
Of course.
In the other room.
Tough break for that little woman.
Yeah. Hey, this blizzard's going to mean a lot of extra police work, so let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Brr, I'm still half frozen.
Me too. Hey, here's another door over here.
Open it.
Holy heck!
What's the matter?
Chief, do you see that eye blinking there in the dark?
Yeah, just one eye. Wait a minute. Where's your flashlight?
Here. Say, what is that anyway?
Looks like a statue of Buddha with one of the eyes lit up.
Man, this Anderson has a regular aura here.
A Buddha shrine. Say, where did I find the light? There.
I never thought there was anything like this in Hartford. Idols, incense, and look at this skull. Say, what's that? Where did that come from?
Yeah, that skull has a wire connection with this temple gun, see? Yeah, look at all these books. The Occult World, The Black Mass, Nala Bodhi.
Hey, Pete, I think I'd better get out of here. This place is driving me bug
Oh,
out.
just a minute, Sergeant. What's that thing there on the floor?
What? Looks like jewelry. The woman's vanity case.
Let's see it. Has initials on it. DSM.
DSM? Pretty expensive case, too. I was pricing one like that for my wife last Christmas. I couldn't spend $25, though.
25. Hey, a $25 vanity case in a house like this might be a clue.
Clue to what?
I don't know. Sergeant?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't call this house luxuriously furnished, would you?
No, very plain looking to me.
Yeah, all except this Buddhist shrine. Now, this layout costs real money. And so did this vanity case.
What are you driving at, Chief?
I don't know yet, but it sure looks suspicious to me. Shrines, blinking eyes, chloroform, death.
What was that?
Oh, don't jump like that, Sergeant. It's only the front door buzzer.
Yeah? Well, what's it buzzing in here for? This room's almost cut off from the rest of the house.
Come on, let's go out in the living room.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I didn't mean to bump into you. I don't know my way around the house very well.
Were you looking for something?
Well, I was looking for Miss Anderson. I rang the bell, but no one answered,
Weren't you over here before?
No, I never was.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm just a friend of the family. I came to offer my sympathy.
What's your name?
Matthews. Miss Edward J. Matthews.
What's your maiden name?
Well, it's Strong. Daisy Strong.
Is it your vanity case?
No.
Aren't these your initials? DSM, Daisy Strong Matthews?
Yeah, but that's not my case.
Don't lie. You here last night?
No.
When were you here last?
Never. I was never in this house before.
Oh, so you just walked in for the first time and came right to this voodoo room where your vanity case was, huh?
Sergeant.
Yeah.
Never mind Mrs. Matthews. We'll get hold of Mr. Matthews and see what he can tell us.
No, don't. Please. He mustn't know.
So you were here last night, weren't you?
Yes.
What happened?
Who killed Frank Anderson?
No one. I don't know. I read in this morning's paper about his taking an overdose of chloroform.
What did you do here last night?
Well, we danced to the radio and had a few drinks.
Who else was here?
Well, Helen Crosby came in around 9 o'clock.
Helen Crosby? Who is she?
She's a friend of Frank and Susie. She was bridesmaid at their wedding. Works in Henry's department store.
I see. Just you four here, is that right?
4? No, 3. Helen, Frank, and I.
Wasn't Mrs. Anderson here?
No, not while I was here. I left around 11:30.
Just a nice little party, huh? Are you sure no one else was here?
Oh, I remember now. John Kent came in to talk to Frank about some special weather report for the airport. He's Frank's assistant.
Oh, assistant, eh?
Yeah. He'll probably have Frank's job now. He wanted it long enough.
Sergeant, I'd like to talk to Mrs. Anderson.
Yes, sir. I'll bring her right in.
And tell headquarters to bring in Helen Crosby.
Yes, Chief.
Oh, and keep your eye on Mrs. Matthews here while I go out to the annex to talk to Mr. Kent, the new weather prophet.
Oh, please don't let him know I told you anything. Frank's death was just an accident anyway.
It was an accident when we came here. It looks like a murder now. So this is where you make the weather for your boss, eh?
What do you want here? I'm working here now.
Yeah, I'm a boss, too. I'm chief of the police department.
Oh, well, you charge me. I was just taking a reading on this wind measuring instrument.
Looks bad, eh?
Huh? Why, oh, yes. This blizzard is near gale force now. 65 miles an hour. Now, this machine...
Never mind that machine. Let's get down off this tower into that office downstairs.
Yes, sir. Right away.
Sit down, Ken. Is this your desk?
Well, I reckon it's mine now. Mr. Anderson dead.
Oh, so you killed him to get his job?
No, I didn't.
When did you see him last?
About 12:15 last night.
Go on.
He was alone. I was working here late. I went over to the house to talk with him. He was getting ready for bed.
Did Anderson say anything about taking chloroform to sleep?
Yes. He went to the pantry to get them. Said he had half a can left.
Half a can, eh? So you helped him take it.
No.
And you helped yourself to his job.
No. He was my friend. He taught me all I know.
Just the same, I'm going to hold you here for further examination.
Since you arrested John Kent, what's the idea of holding us here?
You didn't kill anybody, Miss Crosby. Why are you worrying?
Turning a house of death into a courtroom, I think it's terrible.
Miss Crosby, a murder can be committed by more than one person. Where did you have a wild party here last night while Mrs. Anderson was away?
It wasn't wild. Even Daisy will admit that.
Sure, Chief. Just a nice, quiet evening.
And I found 3 empty liquor bottles, Chief.
Oh, what do you say to that, Miss Crosby?
We always drank to the gods at Frank's Buddha ceremony.
Buddha ceremonies?
Yes, in the Buddha temple there, in front of the shrine.
Hey, what went on in that room anyway?
I can't tell you. We promised, didn't we, Daisy?
Yeah. But you keep me out of this. I'll tell you something about her, Chief. She was one of Susan Anderson's bridesmaids, and she's always been mad because she wasn't a bride instead.
That's not true.
It is. You told Frank Anderson you'd kill him if he didn't keep on liking you.
I didn't.
Did you ever threaten to kill him, Miss Crosby?
No. She did. Frank told me she did.
Now, just a minute, Mrs. Matthews. Why did you come back here this morning for your vanity case?
What? Well, she had that vanity case with her when she left last night.
Are you sure, Miss Crosby?
Positive. I remember she grabbed it off the table and went out in the rain.
I did not.
Now, don't lie, Mrs. Matthews. Why did you come back to this house last night?
On account of the storm, it's the snow. Oh, Frank and I had a fight over Helen, Miss Crosby. I left, mad, and I decided to come back.
Who was here then?
I couldn't see. It was dark. I crept into the Buddha room, and I suppose it was then I dropped my vanity case.
You heard nothing.
Only Frank's Buddha record.
Buddha record? What in the world is that?
And Frank made a phonograph record of his voice to play at our ceremony.
Where is that record?
No, don't, Daisy.
Well, it's in the Buddha room behind the statue.
A record playing in the dark. Sergeant, let's hear it.
I'll find it, Chief.
Here it is. Phonograph, too. Listen.
You are now to be admitted into the mysteries of the shrine of Buddha. As the Burmese temple bell rings, remember, soulmate, you are approaching the highest state of bliss. Come to earth with nirvana. Mala Bodhe. Mala Bodhe.
Why did you do that, Mrs. Anderson?
I couldn't stand it. I couldn't.
Oh, Sergeant, get some water, quick. She's
All right, Chief, just a minute.
What's that in Mrs. Anderson's hand?
Why, it's a watch. Stretched tight.
Let me have it. say, huh? It's a man's watch. An old one with no hands on it. I wonder why she was holding on to this so tight. Mrs. Anderson, the doctor is here. Now, try to be calm.
Everything will be all right now, Mrs. Anderson.
Why are you carrying this watch around?
Because he gave it to me. It was a present from Frank.
This old watch?
There was a lot of sentiment to it.
Mrs. Anderson, why did you tell me you were home dancing with your husband last night when other women were?
I wanted to shield Frank and them from trouble.
Those women are both under arrest for suspicion of murder. John Kent also.
I'm sorry. Frank's death was an accident.
Just one thing more. How much chloroform would you say your husband used last night to put himself to sleep?
He'd got a whole new can of it because he'd used up the old one.
Oh, there wasn't half a can of the old chloroform left?
No. No, it was a whole new can.
Mrs. Anderson, you've been lying. You killed your
No,
husband.
no, please don't say that.
You bought a new can of chloroform and used that to kill your husband after he'd used some from the old can.
All right. I'll tell you everything.
Sergeant, take this down. Right, Chief.
It all began on our wedding night. Frank and I had both just graduated from Helen, please hold my bouquet. I've got to see about the maid of honor's flowers. Just a second. Certainly, Susan. How lovely you look. And how lucky you are to be marrying Frank. He's wonderful. I think so, too. Oh, I'm so glad you could be my bridesmaid. I'm so happy. This is the happiest morning of my life.
Well, what's coming off here? Two girls holding hands with a man around?
Frank, you look after Helen. I've got to see about something. I'll be right back. Father and the minister are waiting for us in the living room.
I'll look after Helen, all right.
Helen, come back here behind the palm.
No, Frank, no. I'm afraid Susan will see us. She's coming right back.
Susan so little she wouldn't hurt a fly.
Come here. Helen, kiss me. Like you always kiss me.
No, you're marrying Susan. She's my friend. It's not right.
Kiss me, Helen. You're mine.
Oh, Frank.
You love me. You can't help it. You always will.
And you will always love me. Promise you will. If you don't, I swear I'll kill you.
Why, sure, darling.
Frank, I'll die with you.
Me too.
Here comes the bride. Oh. Give me my bouquet, Helen. I'm ready, Frank.
Well, here we go, Sue. For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
Nice little love nest you and your wife got here, Frank.
Yeah, Daisy. Oh, Sue. This is Mrs. Daisy Matthews. She's come to supper.
Why, how do you do?
Won't you sit down?
Sure, I'll sit. And I like my steak rare.
Steak? We're having cream chick beef tonight.
Here, Sue. Take this money. Go out and buy our guest what you like. And it better be tender, too.
Yeah, make it snappy. I like my dinner at 6.
Scram, scram.
Oh.
Come on. I'll dance to the radio while she's gone.
Marvelous. And you've been married for 5 years to that?
Pretty fair meal, huh, Daisy?
So. Now what do we do? Sit around and stare at the wife?
Not a chance. We'll go into my Buddha room.
What?
Well, didn't you know? Well, Buddhists. We'll burn incense before my Buddha altar. I'll initiate you into a strange, mysterious, exciting rite.
Mrs. Anderson, what is this? Is your husband fooling me?
I'll tell you. My husband is a Buddhist. He worships strange gods.
Come on, I'll show you, Daisy. Come into the Buddha room. Alone. Now, stand in front of the statue of Buddha. Now.
as the Burmese temple bell rings.
Did this happen often?
Yes, it was awful. He even wrote about it in his diary.
Diary.
Yes, here it is.
January 19th. I've made whoopee every Saturday night for 5 weeks. Met Cynthia today at the club. How about you? Did you keep a diary, Mrs. Anderson?
Yes, there it is on the table.
All right. January 19th. Oh, the same day I just read about. Frank gave me a watch today. First present he's given me in...
3 years.
It was an old watch of his. He said, now maybe you can be on time. Is this the watch, Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson, please tell me exactly what happened here last night.
Yes, I'll tell you. It was awful. This morning I thought it was a dream. I couldn't believe it.
Now, what happened?
My husband was wild. He was drinking, and he threatened to beat me. Oh, he often did. I was afraid. I went to a movie.
When did you come back?
About 11. The apartment was a wreck. There's been a wild party.
Well, look who's home.
I'll call a taxi for you, Daisy.
Never mind. Never mind the fast. I'll walk. All right, I'll go fetch the ratio, brother. Where's my vanity case? Give me my vanity case. And my hat. And my coat. Who cares? All right. Goodbye.
Daisy. Where's Daisy? Hey. Oh, you.
She's gone.
Oh, where's Helen?
If she was here, she's gone, too.
Oh, is that so? Well, you can go, too.
Frank, why don't you stop this? It's hurting your work.
Just because I was wrong about this blizzard, huh?
Don't you care about me?
No. I never did, and I never will. I believe in Hindu philosophy. Woman is a slave. Get out of my way.
Frank, you hurt me.
Did I? I'll do it again.
Oh!
Now I'll go to bed. I'll get my chloroform from the pantry, and then I'll sleep. There it is. Chloroform. Nectar of the gods. I'll put some on this handkerchief and lie down. Nectar of the gods. What are you doing in the pantry, huh?
Take this, Frank.
What's that? That's you, Daisy, Helen, Cynthia?
Yes. We're all here. Take it.
More chloroform?
Yes. Lots more.
More nectar of the gods.
Yes. Breathe deep. Deeper.
Andre, you're killing me. You're killing me.
You've been killing me ever since our wedding night. Breathe deeper.
Well, Helen, Sue, Freddie,
You. Here's your chloroform. Take it. Take it all and never wake up. Never wake up. Never wake up.
Mrs. Frank Waldo Anderson, the jury having found you guilty of manslaughter, I hereby sentence you to serve from 1 to 10 years in the Connecticut State Prison.
you've just heard is The Buddha Man Mystery. What happened to the philandering Weber prophet, as revealed in the October issue of True Detective Mysteries magazine and electrically transcribed by Trans-American.